Okay, so I'm sorry guys, I think now we should be live. Can anyone message me in the chat please if you can hear me and if everything works? Okay, you're not writing anything so far. I'm writing in the chat real quick to check if everything's working. Okay, so I think it's working now. Let me check something real quick. Okay, that works as well. So, okay, in this live stream I'm going to build a 1x2x3. Maybe you have already seen my video on YouTube about this puzzle. It is a pretty simple puzzle, so it only has one sheet of template. So I think we should be able to finish this puzzle in about 2 hours or a bit more maybe. So yeah, if you want to build this puzzle as well, then I hope you have already printed out this page, because that's all you're going to need. And I'm going to start now with cutting out the edges, the pieces, and then I'm going to glue everything together. And if you have any questions about anything, then feel free to simply ask, and I'll try my best to answer. Also, if you have questions that are not related to this build, simply ask me and I'll try to do my best to answer. So, okay, I'm just going to start cutting out the pieces now. Fabio Mora, yes, I did correct the color scheme. I am very sorry that it was wrong before. I only realized when I printed the puzzle again. But yeah, it is corrected now, so it should work out just fine now. I'm really sorry that it was wrong before, but yeah, it should work now. So cutting out these pieces shouldn't be too hard because they are all simply just cubes, and the pieces are not too complex as with some of my other puzzles. Timothy, I don't quite understand what you mean by how I got the logo on. I redid the template because also the color scheme was wrong before, and with that I also added the logo. So because I saw quite a few comments by you guys that you want the puzzles to have logos, so I thought I'd just add it. Timothy, you can't donate. It's really nice of you to ask this, and I really appreciate it, but you can't donate because I don't have enough watch time, so I can't monetize my channel, and because of that I also can't take donations. But thanks so much for asking that. And no, I can't speak Russian for Igor. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. So Sriram, you asked how I design my puzzles. It changed quite a bit over the time. So with puzzles like this one, back then I just drew everything in a 2D CAD program. So I figured out in my head how the mechanism should look, and then I'd design the template, so the folding plans, right from my head. But by now, because I'm getting more into complex puzzles, I try to model the cube in 3D CAD before, and then I'm taking the model parts and making folding plans out of them. Okay, it's pretty hard to keep up with the chat right now, so I'm reading real quick. I'm using paper that has, I'm not quite sure, I think 140 grams per square meter, but it varies because I just use what I have at hand. So I most of the time use something between 120 grams per square meter and about 180 grams per square meter. But it's not that important how thick the paper is exactly. Yeah, this is the first Let's Build Together. I'm trying out this new format because I thought many of you guys requested more in-depth tutorials, and I thought with videos like this, where I build the puzzles in real time, you can get more in-depth into how I build the puzzles, and if you got questions, yeah, you can ask and I can show it to you in more detail. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue this series, but if you like it, then I think I will. Timothy, you're asking if 100 is enough. I don't... okay, you're talking about the thickness of the paper. Yeah, 100 grams should work as well. I mean, the puzzle is more stable if you use thicker paper, but everything that is a bit thicker than printing paper is okay. So 80 grams would be on the low side, but everything above 80 grams should work. And if it's a bit more, then I think it's better. Yeah, exactly. I would also say just use the paper you have. If you only have printing paper, the puzzles will be functional as well, but you have to be pretty careful because with printing paper the pieces tend to break pretty easily. So yeah, it should work as well, but not as good. Yeah, it's a good idea that I can build Pyraminx next, because I got quite a few comments saying that you want a Pyraminx tutorial. I think I'm going to make either a tutorial or a live stream. I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but it depends also how today will work. But I don't know yet if I can build a Pyraminx in like 2 or 3 hours. So maybe I have to split it up into 2 live streams then. Venkeja. I think 52 seconds is pretty good. How long have you been cubing? So I think you're saying that you solved a regular 3x3 in 52 seconds, because paper 3x3, that would be insane if you managed to do that. Yeah, Timothy, I can understand that you were frustrated by the Pyraminx. I'm sorry that most of my puzzles don't have very good templates and or tutorials, because it's really hard to make a good template where everything is clear how to build the puzzle, and I just don't want to make a tutorial for every cube, because I think it won't be interesting for most people. But I'm trying to get more into making tutorials for more of my puzzles. I think you have seen that on my channel lately, that I've made tutorials for more and more of the cubes. Fabio, you're saying that you messed up 2 tries of the puzzle until you got it right. Often when I build my puzzles, I mess up quite a few times as well. So first of all, the design process, most of the time there is a mistake somewhere in there. So I have to redesign some of the parts, and then I have to try if it works then. And I've been getting better lately, but at the beginning I had to design most of the puzzles quite a few times until the designs worked. And then also with the building, sometimes you just mess up something and you have to build some parts again. And that can be really frustrating, but with time you get a lot better and it gets way less frustrating. So keep on building puzzles, and I think it should be better soon. So Timothy, how far are you with the paper 3x3? Because that's quite a lengthy build, so I think most of my paper 3x3s that I've built so far took me over a week to build them each, because I have university and stuff, so I can only build maximum a few hours a day. Oh, you're still on the core? Well, then you've got quite a long journey ahead of you. So just keep on building and eventually you'll finish, but it'll take quite some time. So try to stay motivated that you are going to finish it, because I can get that it can be really frustrating at times. And you always feel like you're making so little progress. At least it's like that for me. Oh, Timothy, you have to go. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. Fabio, you're saying that this inner circle the washer is the most frustrating part for you because you can't get it in place. The washer increases the stability and the turning quality of the puzzle, but if you can't get it working, then simply leave it away. So the puzzle works just fine without the washer. It was just something that I wanted to try, and I think that with the washer the puzzle turns a bit better. But if it's too hard, then it's not that important. So sorry I'm not talking that much right now, but these pieces are not very easy to cut out, so I have to concentrate on that for a bit. But I'm trying to keep up with the chat. But after these 3 pieces, the cutting out process is already complete. So you can see this puzzle has really few pieces. And I think we should be even faster than I originally thought with building this puzzle. Lucas, you're asking me how it is studying physics. For me, it's really, really cool. So I enjoyed physics in school already, and it just seemed like the obvious step after school to study physics because I was really interested in pretty much all of it, and it just kept, my interest just kept increasing. So I think it is really amazing to study how like basically everything works on a really basic level. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Hi Gabriel and hi Max. Gabriel, thanks that you enjoy my models. I'm trying to give you guys interesting puzzles that you can maybe build yourself as well. So thanks if that kind of works at least. Okay, so only one more piece to go. Hey, an average Italian. Nice username, by the way. Okay, so let me get rid of the chunk here real quick. Okay, so the cutting out process is almost complete because all of these pieces here are completely cut out, and with these pieces, let me see if I can show it to you, we have to cut out this inner area here. So for that I'm going to use a knife, because with scissors that's pretty impossible. So let's do that next. This is probably the most annoying step of the building process, for me at least, because you have to be really careful so you don't cut into somewhere where you don't want to cut into, or something like that. It is pretty annoying in my opinion. Lucas, you're asking how long it takes me to build an average cube. That heavily depends on what puzzle it is. So a 3x3 usually takes about maybe 6 to 8 hours of active build time. So I'm building a 3x3 probably over the course of a week or something like that. But with something like the 5x5 or puzzles like that, it takes much longer, so the build time is more like 40 hours or something like that. That's why you mostly see pretty small puzzles on my channel, because large ones are, I just can't build a large puzzle in the 2 weeks that I usually want to have between two puzzles, or between two new videos. Okay, so this first piece here is cut out. You can see it's not very clean. Wait. Now you can see it is not very clean, but it should work because it's not that important if it is that accurate. So only 3 more to go. I'm so happy when this step is done. Well, that didn't work as planned. It's pretty difficult to get everything out here, but we will get there. Okay, yeah, so now it's focused. The second one worked quite a lot better than the first one. So now for the second piece here, the same process again. Gabriel, this puzzle is really not that complex compared to some of the other puzzles that I've built already. So this puzzle has only 6 moving pieces, so the mechanism is pretty basic. I really don't like this step, it is so finicky. Because like, this is really not well cut out, but never mind, it should do the job, so that's all that counts. Hello to Julia, thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions about this puzzle that I'm building right now, 1x2x3, or also any other questions, feel free to ask them and I'll try my best to answer. Okay, so this is complete now. Here we have the 2 holes and here we have the same 2 holes as well. And now we only have to cut out one more thing, which is this circle in here, because these 2 pieces will have to be attached like this to one another, and for that we need a hole in here. So I'm going to cut out this now, and then we can finally start gluing the pieces. So now everything is cut out, and for gluing the pieces I'm going to start with these pieces here, because these are going to need to dry a bit before we can continue to glue them onto these pieces, because they have to go here. So I'm going to cut into the folds a bit, because then the folds will be easier to fold. Okay, after cutting into them, this rectangle here that you can see here will have to be bent into a cylinder. And then glued on there like this. Oh, I just realized the description of what I'm doing is not accurate anymore. So let me change that real quick. Okay, here we go. So now I'm just going to put a tiny amount of glue on here. And press it on there. Come on. Okay, that should be enough. No, it's getting loose again. Oh, let's try this again. A bit more glue now. Fabio, you're asking which cube has been the hardest to build for me so far? Well, definitely the 5x5, because it has had the most pieces that I had to build so far, and also the mechanism was the most complex. And after the 5x5, I would say the Megaminx, because it was the first puzzle that I've designed completely on my own. So I had to figure out how I can design puzzles and how that all works so that the puzzle will be functional in the end. And that took me really long. So now here we have the half cylinder already glued on the piece. Let's focus this. Well, you were briefly able to see it here. And now we can glue this here together in this shape. So again, I'm putting glue on there and gluing it together. That's all we have to do for these pieces. So the same process has to be repeated 3 more times. In the meantime, these pieces are just left on the side so they can dry. So again, I'm cutting into the folds here a bit, because I want to be able to fold them more easily afterwards. I'm going to do that for all 3 of the remaining pieces, because it's slightly faster like this. Well, there is one more piece. I nearly forgot that. Here we go. Now for the first fold. Come on. This piece is really small, so it's pretty hard to get the glue on in the right places and to to make the piece look the right way in the end. But that works. Let's make the second fold. Here we go. And now this piece is done as well. Oh no, I glued it to my finger a bit, but okay. Here we go. Same process for the third time now. I know this is pretty boring to watch right now, but once this is done, we're getting to a new piece, and then I think it's going to be more interesting again. Well, this worked pretty well. Let's continue right away. So this was the third piece. There is a bit too much glue on here, so I'm wiping this off. And now there's only one more piece to go of this kind. Reader boy, no, I do not speak Chinese. I can only speak German, English, a tiny bit of French, and a pretty much equally tiny bit of Turkish, but no Chinese or Russian, like someone else asked before. What is wrong with my camera right now? Here we go. Now it's better again. Sorry for that. Oh no, that's way too much glue on there. Okay, here we go. And for the last time. Okay. Now all 4 of these pieces are done, and we can continue with the centers, which are going to be these pieces here. For those, again, we have to cut into the folds a bit. And then these are just going to be cubes, so it shouldn't be that hard to glue them together. Okay, so now I'm folding all of the folds, because then it will be easier to glue it together, because we don't have to fold the folds halfway with the rest of the puzzle glued together already. this should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so sorry, I thought I messed up something, but we can close this piece already, but we have to attach this piece to here before we can close this one as well. I got a small shock before because I thought that I messed up, and that would have been really, really bad. But like this, we can now simply close this piece here. And here we go. This is basically the first of our 6 pieces completely done. Now I'm going to cut into the folds of this piece here, but before we glue it together we have to do some more things with these 2 circles here. But I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so now I've cut into the folds already, and now I'm going to fold the piece, and then I'm going to attach it to the other piece. Hi Edeka Dave, thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll try my best to answer. And Fabio, no problem, I don't know who the question was meant for either, so no problem at all. Okay, so now this piece is folded and we can attach it to here. For that we need this really, really small circle, which you can see here. And we're going to glue it in the middle of this piece that is already folded. Well, let's see if this is going to work. Okay, this is not in the middle. Better now, yeah. So this piece needs to be precisely in the middle of the cube here, because otherwise the puzzle will not turn around a center axis and it won't work like that. So like this it works, but it isn't even that much in the middle right now either. Sucha channel, you're asking what I'm doing right now. So I've cut out everything already, and right now I'm attaching the two centers to one another. So in the end, they're going to look like this. And this is going to be a closed cube, obviously. And they can't be separated like this, but you can still turn them along this axis here. So for that, I think this one circle is isn't enough. So I'm getting the cutaways, and I'm going to cut out a second small circle like this, which I'm going to glue on the first one. Fabio, you can still watch the stream back later, so you can print out the template later and then simply follow the steps in the stream, because the stream will be available as a usual YouTube video afterwards. So that shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this second layer on the first one. And now you can see, okay, so on camera, and it's pretty difficult to show this on camera, but maybe you can see that in the middle the piece is a bit taller than on the edges. So now this needs to dry, because otherwise we would just glue the other half on this piece and they wouldn't be able to turn anymore. So we're going to set this all aside and glue one of these pieces together in the meantime. For that, again, I'm going to cut into the edges a bit, so it's easier to fold them in the end. I'm going to do this to all of the pieces, because then I don't have to do it later. Sorry, I have to watch out that I'm not making any mistakes here, so I can't talk right now, but once I finish this last piece, I can explain what I'm doing in more detail again. Okay, so here we go. Now to glue these pieces together, just fold it again, and it's going to be a cube, so it shouldn't be that hard to build them. Goodbye, Tiger. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to be seeing you soon again. Okay, so I have to watch out that I'm not gluing my hand to the piece right now, because I've put way too much glue on the piece. So, well, now my fingers are all covered in glue, but never mind, that the glue just dries, so it is not a problem for the rest of the build. Hello NinjaCuber, thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions, just leave them in the chat and I'll try my best to answer. I'm obviously, I think you already read that I'm building a 1x2x3, and right now I'm building one of the edge pieces, so one of the pieces of the top and bottom layer, and then I'm going to finish the mechanism, so the middle layer, because there are some pieces have to dry. Yeah, NinjaCuber, I'm gluing my fingers together really often, so luckily with this glue I'm using here, it's not much of a problem because you can simply pull them apart again. But yeah, after I'm building puzzles, my fingers are always covered up in glue. Okay, so now we have this first cube here, and now I'm getting back to the pieces here that we've built right in the beginning, and I'm going to glue this together like so. So you can see this half circle here goes onto the half circle on this piece. So the hook is on the bottom side, and on the opposite side there's the yellow face or the white face, depending on which of the edges you're building right now. So now I'm just going to put a bit of glue on here and press it against there. And now I'm praying I can get my finger from the piece again. Yeah, okay, that wasn't too hard. Okay, so here we go. This piece is complete now. So we have to build 3 more of exactly these pieces, and these are going to be the top and bottom layers. And now I think the middle layer is dried enough, so we can continue here. here we're going to put the not glued piece on the cube like this. So you can see here in the middle the axis is going through, or the small circles that we glued on there is going through the hole that we cut out of the other piece. Before I'm going to do that, I'm going to do something really quick because I want to ensure that the puzzle is really functional in the end. And I'm going to show you in a minute what I'm doing right now. It's just something where I haven't designed the puzzle perfectly, so I'm going to fix this now. I'm going to make these pieces, these parts here, because you can see here it's all like rectangular and stuff, and I'm just cutting away a bit more of the material so that the piece can turn more freely in the end, because this has to go in here like this, and when there's more room then the puzzle will turn better. Okay, now some snippets fell into the puzzle. I think they are out again. Okay. Let's see on this side. Yeah, that is enough. So you can see here, now the edge piece just has a bit more room to move freely, and like that the puzzle is going to work better in the end. So I'm going to do the same to the other half. Hi, Ray for Rainy. Thanks for stopping by. I'm just starting to attach the two middle layers, right? The middle layer to the two pieces of the middle layer to one another. So if you have any questions on the building process or anything in general, feel free to ask and I'll try my best to answer. Okay, so the second piece is prepared now as well. I'm going to cut out a bit more here. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, and now we can continue. So I'm going to put the not glued piece on here again like this. So the small circles, so you can see the small circles through the hole in the upper piece. And now we're going to put a bit of glue on the upper circle, but really not much, because otherwise we have the risk of gluing some things together that we don't want to be glued together. And now, like this, we can press this second circle here onto the axis, and that is to secure the mechanism so the puzzle can't fall into two pieces anymore. I'm wiggling the second piece now a bit because I don't want the pieces to glue together, and like that can be prevented pretty well. Well, okay, that did not work. That is unfortunate. Let's try this again. Again, I'm putting some glue on here. Okay, that looks better now. I hope it really holds together, because this is a pretty crucial part of the build, because if this piece falls off again, then we have to build basically these two pieces again, because we can't fix that later on. Okay, this looks better now. I'm not sure if it will hold, but let's continue. I'm going to set this aside again to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to build one more of the edges. Again, these are simply going to be cubes, so gluing them together is pretty straightforward. So I'm doing this just like as quick as I can, because I don't think that I have to show anything to you here. Okay, so this is basically the second edge. We only have to attach the hook to it. And before I'm going to do that, I'm going to check if this is going to work. And it looks good. So the important thing is that we cannot remove this piece here. So if I try to, I can't. I mean, if I pull on it really strong, then of course it's going to come off, but it's held together quite a bit, and I can still turn it like this. So you can see here, I can turn these two pieces here. And on here, when we look on top of that, you can see that here these two half circles form a circle now. And that is important because later the pieces will slide into here like so. And it is important that they can turn like this. So, okay, after this brief tangent on how the puzzle works, let's continue building it. So I'm going to take another of these hooks here and attach it to the edge, like so. Again, it is important that opposite of the hook there is yellow or white in this case. Now that this is attached, we can set this piece aside to dry as well. And now we can continue with the middle layer. So here we have to basically close this piece. So in the end it is a cube as well, roughly like you can see here right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting some weird warnings in the streaming software. Can someone of you please tell me in the chat if the stream is still going okay or if something isn't working? Okay, so nobody is answering. I'm not sure if you can still hear me. Oh, okay, yeah, thanks. I don't know why I got this weird message. But yeah, okay, that's good if you can see me and hear me. So okay, now I've glued the sides on this middle piece already, and now I'm going to close it like this. Okay, so now you can see here we have a fully functional middle layer because the pieces are attached to one another. So if I let go of one of them, the other it doesn't fall off, and I can still turn it along this axis here. So now all we have to do is build these last two edges and then the puzzle will be complete. Again, first I'm going to fold them and then glue them into a cube shape. And then after we attach the hooks, that's basically all the puzzle needs. So then we should be done. Samai Pro, or however you pronounce that, sorry for butchering it. Hi, thanks for stopping by. I'm fine, I'm having a lot of fun here with you, and I hope you are fine as well. And yeah, if you have any questions about how I'm building this puzzle, or like basically any questions in general, simply ask me and I'll try my best to answer them. Soxiel, what do you mean with glue? Like, I mean, I'm going to glue the pieces together starting right now. Or what did you mean? Now we're already almost done with our third edge, and after this there's only one more to go. So the building process was a lot faster than I originally expected. But I think that's a good sign, because that means that I can try to build more complex puzzles in a stream like this as well. Because I'd really like to build the puzzle completely in one stream and not have to split it up. But also I really don't want to be the stream to be more than like 3 hours maximum. So again, the hook has to be attached like this. So here is the hook on this side, and on the opposite side there is the yellow face. And now on to the last piece. Fabio, yeah, I get why you're saying that it looks so easy when I'm doing it. But the thing is, I've built paper puzzles like a few hundred hours so far already. So I have really much practice, and I messed up so often. So yeah, it looks easy now, but there were a lot of times where I messed something up or it didn't work out as I planned, and it's really just you're seeing the end product of, or like the result of hundreds of hours of practice here. Hi Simon, thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'm trying to answer them as good as I can. Okay, so now the last hook has to be attached to this edge. So it will be on there like this. For the last time, the hook is on this side, and on the opposite side here you can see white, which is important. So yeah, let's attach this now. And then we're already done with this build. This was a lot faster than I originally expected it to be. Okay. Now all that's left to do is to assemble this puzzle. So we have our middle layer here, which can turn along this axis. And apart from that, we have 4 edge pieces. 2 for the yellow side, like this. And 2 for the white side, like this. So now I'm going to assemble the puzzle. And I'm going to assemble it in the solved state, because otherwise maybe I'll run into a parity later. I'm not really sure. So you can simply stretch the mechanism here for a bit and then try to slide this piece in like this. That should work. So as long as there are so many as long as there are so few pieces in here, you can try to always insert the piece on the side where there are no pieces left, where there are no pieces so far. So now I'm going to put it in here, and if I slide it over, then we already have the first 2 pieces. And for the bottom layer, it's basically the same. Only the last piece here now, we have to try to get it in here somehow. This can be a bit finicky for the last piece, but okay, this worked really well now. This is what the finished puzzle looks like. So let's get everything aside here. The puzzle works because you can turn these layers like this, and also now here you can take these 2 parts and swap them in place. So I'm going to scramble the puzzle already now. We can just take these 2 here and turn them like this. So yeah, this puzzle is a 1x2x3, so I can't really scramble it really much. This is probably as far as it'll go. I don't know, I'd say this is scrambled enough. So let's solve this now. At first I'm going to turn this one so we have the orange bar in the middle. And now the problem is just that these 2 pieces have to be on top here and these 2 have to be on the bottom. So like this, the first piece is in the correct spot because we have orange here, blue here, and red here. And we can do the same on the other side. So red, blue, orange. And if we make one more turn here, the puzzle is already solved. So yeah, that's it. This build was pretty quick, to be honest. I didn't expect it to run so smoothly. And I hope you had fun following along with this build. I hope you maybe learned something, or that I motivated you that you're going to build this puzzle yourself. And yeah, tell me either now in the chat or in the comments if you want me to do more live streams like this. If you have any suggestions how I can improve the live streams, or yeah, anything else you want to get off your mind. Hi Timothy, how was the school lesson? So I'm just going to hang out like 5 more minutes or something like that here. If you want to talk a bit with me, or like tell me some things I can improve on. And I think then I'm going to close the stream because the puzzle is done and I don't really know what I can do now, because solving this puzzle is honestly pretty boring. Okay, thanks Fabio. You're saying that the stream was instructive. I hope you mean that in a good way, because it kind of seems like borderline too boring. I hope I didn't bore you too much in the stream. I get that it can get boring sometimes, because building these puzzles is really repetitive. So I have to cut out the same piece 4 times and then do all of the gluing steps 4 times as well. I'm sorry for that, but I think there's really no way around this. Okay, so if you don't have anything else to tell me or that or something like that, I think I'm going to close the stream now, because I really don't know what to do anymore. This puzzle works pretty well, but that was to be expected because it's only a 1x2x3. It is really not that difficult. And yeah, I hope you had fun. Thanks for watching, everyone.